Judge Roy Moore says he may soon announce a bid for the U.S. Senate in defiance of ongoing political attacks against him. One America's Kristian Rouz has the latest.
Why is there such fear in Washington, D.C. at the mere mention of my name? This opposition is coming from Washington, D.C. establishment.
Alabama Judge Roy Moore is back in national politics with a clear intent to drain the swamp of corruption in Washington, D.C. In a series of recent statements, Judge Moore reassured President Trump and the American people he has solid chances to unseat Democrat incumbent Senator Doug Jones in 2020. The judge also refuted the allegations of a possible divide between him and the president.
Because I've always supported the things and the positions that Donald Trump has taken about securing our borders, about restoring our military. You know, I think we have to look at the issues that he's talked about, and I fully support those issues.
Moore floated his possible 2020 bid for the Senate last week, sparking confusion at the White House. President Trump suggested Moore might not be able to get elected. Meanwhile, the president's eldest son went as far as suggesting the judge should disappear from politics. This comes amid concerns that Judge Moore's name could bear political risks and may even be toxic after a months-long smear campaign in the mainstream media.
It is not saying that you are a pedophile, of course not.
I am simply cutting this conversation right now.
No.
Thank you.
Have you been
nice. I support Israel. I don't support this kind of stuff.
But Judge Moore points out accusations against him either have turned out to be false or were dropped soon after the 2017 special election. He says that election has shown the corrupt Washington establishment has too much influence on Alabama politics.
I saw this disinformation tactics in Project Birmingham out of Washington, D.C. It became a little more clear to me how much they don't want me in Washington. So after the election was over, everything stopped. And I'm sure it'll come back.
Judge Moore insists his name is clean, and recent polls suggest Alabama voters have high confidence in him. He says the mainstream media is waging a war of disinformation, fake news, and an outright smear campaign against both himself and President Trump. But Moore believes the American public isn't buying it any longer.
Well, I think the polls indicate that the false tactics that they used in the last election, which even my opponent recognized, they failed.
The White House has yet to come up with a definite stance on Moore's likely candidacy. Meanwhile, the judge says he hasn't made a decision to run yet and will make an announcement later this month. Kristian, Rouz, One America News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.